Hello, and welcome to our sake exploration event brought to you by Eat Meat Japan. My name is Jeff. I'm coming to you from Japan Travel in Tokyo. Today we will visit Saku City in Nagano Prefecture, where we will live like a traditional sake brewer from the olden days. But first, I want to welcome you and introduce you to our tour and partner, Eat Meat Japan. Eat Meat Japan recognizes and promotes Japanese food experiences. The project brings people together through food and provides a window into the culture of the areas represented. Award-winning experiences demonstrate Japanese food as a gateway into topics like history, spirituality, and sustainability. In fact, our tour today is focused on one of the award-winning locations, so feel free to check out the website and the page for Kurubito Stay, linked now in the chat. There are many sake breweries in Japan that offer tours, but the one we introduced today, Kitsukura Sake Brewery, is one of the few places in Japan where you can not only taste and purchase sake, but experience the authentic process of making sake during an overnight stay at the connected inn Kurubito Stay. Kitsukura Sake Brewery and Kurubito Stay have combined businesses in a very unique way. First of all, the brewery has been in business for over 300 years, complete with dormitories where sake craftsmen reside. In more recent years, the minds behind Kurubito Stay thought to revitalize the region with tourism and converted one of the unused dormitory buildings into a newly renovated inn where visitors can stay and experience the life of a sake brewing craftsman. Guests are welcomed into authentic atmosphere of sake and craftsmanship to see the beauty and mystery of sake making from the perspective of a brewer. Needless to say, guests have ample opportunity to taste sake, pair with local foods in this only in Japan opportunity. Normally, guests stay for 2 to 3 days filled with sake creation, tasting, and tradition, but through this virtual tour, we hope to show you as much as we can in about an hour. And we hope after watching the event today, you'll become a bit more familiar with sake and be ready to share your knowledge in your next tasting event. We're very lucky to have both the owner of Kitsukura Brewery, the 19th generation of owners in his family, Mr. Taira-san, and the owner of and innovator behind Kurubito Stay, Ms. Tazawa-san, both with us today. So feel free to ask any questions in the live chat, and they'll be more than happy to answer along the way. We'll also have a short tour feedback survey with Amazon gift card prizes sent to a few randomly selected winners who submit their feedback. Okay, now we have Blair Gardia, a resident of Nagano Prefecture, who I'll be turning the tour over to guide us around the brewery, shop, and inn. Blair, thanks for showing us around today. How are things out there in Nagano?
Hey Jeff, things are good. Things are good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's looking good. Looks a bit windy.
It's a little bit windy, so it's a bright winter's day here in Saku, in front of the Kitsukura Sake Brewery. As you might be able to see, actually, it just snowed last night, and we still have some lingering snow here in the brewery.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty rare for snow to fall in this area of Nagano, but we're very glad to have it today.
Yeah, it looks cold.
It's a little bit cold, but I dress pretty warm.
Yeah, and tell us about what you are wearing there. It looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, I've got my sake brewer's uniform on with me. I got my sake brewer's coat. I've got my tenegui, which helps keep my hair out of my face and out of the sake.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm ready to go. Looking forward to showing you guys a lot more about sake brewing, and particularly about this sake brewery. Before I begin, I just want to tell you about where we are right now. So we're in front of the brewery, which is located in Saku City in Nagano Prefecture. I think Jeff mentioned that previously. And Nagano Prefecture is located squarely in the center of Japan's main island of Honshu. It's about an hour to an hour and a half away from Tokyo using the Hokuriku Shinkansen train. And it's a beautiful prefecture, countryside, surrounded by mountains. Particularly the 3 ranges of the Japanese Alps are here. It is the host of the 1998 Winter Olympic Games, and it's also the home of the snow monkeys, Japanese macaques that bathe in hot spring baths. But today I'm not going to be telling you more about skiing or its mountainous scenery or its hot springs. I want to talk about sake in particular. And actually, thanks to Nagano's mountainous climate, its cold winters and the abundance of snowmelt that flows from the mountains, Nagano is a great place for producing sake. And it actually has the second highest number of sake breweries out of anywhere in Japan. Saku City has 13 of those breweries, and Kitsukura Sake Brewery is one of them, with over 300 years of sake making history. It is also the home of the Kurabito Stay program, which is one of the few places in Japan where you can stay here for 1 to 3 days and learn to make sake for yourself. So I'd like to begin now. We're going to take a look inside, and we're going to meet the president of Kitsukura Sake Brewery, Mr. Taira. So let's begin. If I can open the door. Okay. こんにちは。
こんにちは。ようこそいらっしゃいました。Hello everyone. My name is Tyler Ide. I'm 19th generation president. 本当にようこそお越しくださいました。今日はですね、この木津倉のアンテナショップに皆さんは今入っていただきましたけれども、ここには日本酒、焼酎、そして甘酒と当社で作ったお酒が並んでおります。
So right now we're inside Kitsukura Sake Brewery's shop, their storefront, where they sell their Japanese sake. They sell shochu, and they also sell amazake here as well. So here's a lineup of many of their products.
はい、多くのお客様にご来店いただいておりますね。そしてですね、それ以外にも地元のですね、商品もたくさん取り揃えてご案内しております。
In addition to their own sake products, they also showcase a variety of local products and other things that go well with their sake. Yeah. And actually, so one thing in particular that I think is pretty interesting is this little machine right here. To me, it feels very Japanese. So what is this?
はい、これはですね、日本酒ガチャガチャですね。
So this is like, as an American, I would think of like a bubblegum machine, but a gacha machine. And so you can win sake from this? Oh.
One plate 1000円ですね。
Oh. So you pay 1,000 yen, and you have a chance of getting one of these 6 prizes. And the top prize looks like a Daiginjo Genshu. Oh. So it's a very nice
はい、
sake.
これはですね、こちらのですね、当社でも一番高いお酒ですね。はい、こちら1本5500円のお酒になりますけど、これも当たるチャンスがあります。
So you have the chance to get this sake, 5,500 yen for one bottle. Very elegant and refined sake brewed here.
さあ、ブラさん、ぜひぜひトライしませんか？
Oh, can I try?
はい。
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh.
Sure.
Okay, good luck. We're rooting for you.
Let's see. I hope I get something good.
どうですか？
So we got this little capsule here, and if I can open it, oh, there we go. I got number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Uh-oh.
Not too lucky.
It's
today.
not your day.
Not too lucky. today.
Still not bad.
Still 2-bottle set.
Yes.
Not bad.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll save that for later, maybe. I'll just throw that in my pocket. And from here, we want to leave the storefront and actually take a look at the brewery itself. So, Tyler-san, would you show us?
はい、もちろんです。蔵の方へまたご案内申し上げます。行きましょう。
Okay, so let's go. Oh,
Thank you, guys.
very important sign.
はい、どうぞこちらへ来てください。どうぞこちらへお進みください。こちらに見えますのがですね、いわゆる酒屋になりまして、蔵と、そして、Kurabito Stay、また商品の倉庫、こちら側はですね、事務所と自分のお家、母屋になりますね。
So here we have the Sake Brewery grounds, and you can see on the left here we have the office, and then that connects to Tyler's house here and his lovely garden. And then we have the Kurabito Stay Inn. Behind that, we have the brewery and also a large warehouse where they store their goods.
はい、どうぞ中へお進みください。今日はですね、ぜひ皆さんに 今、日本庭園を見ていただきたいなと思います。
So today is a special treat. We're going to take a look inside President Tyler's garden, which he doesn't normally show off to everyone.
実は川も流れてるんですね。
Oh, and you also see we have a small stream that flows through the property.
はい。これも日本一長い千曲川から引っ張ってきたクリークになりますね。
So this little stream actually comes from Japan's longest river, the Chikuma River, which flows through this area.
はい、どうぞ中へお進みください。
Snow's beginning to melt.
はい。本当に本当に古い形の庭園になってますが、この大きい松の木はですね、樹齢200年と言われております。
So you can really feel this brewery's history here. You take a look at some of these trees, particularly these pine trees here, are over 200 years old. They look especially beautiful with little bits of snow dotting their needles.
はい、そしてですね、その奥に見える建物が母屋になりまして、その建物も150年前の建物になっています。
And so here, this is Tyler's house. This is actually over 150 years old.
冬は寒いです。
It's very cold in winter.
そしてですね、この母屋では今年の8月のオリンピックの閉会式に合わせて、エストニアからですね、大統領が来まして、昨年ご訪問いただいて、この母屋でですね、ご歓迎申し上げます。
So actually, this August, at the closing ceremony of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, the Estonian president, now the former president, came to visit this brewery and visited this house.
はい、はい、そんな場所でございました。そしてですね、こちらに見えますのが先ほども見えていたクラビトステイの建物ですね。
Oh, and here we can see the Kurubito Stay building, which we'll take a look at more in detail later, but we're going to pass through it right now as we head to the brewery.
どうぞこちらお進みください。はい。そしてですね、こちらぜひご覧になってください。これはですね、酒林杉玉とも言いますけれども、吉野杉で作った、飾り物になります。そしてこの杉玉はその蔵で新しいお酒が作られた時にですね、必ず作るもので、青い杉の葉っぱができた軒下にこう飾られた時に、新酒が発売したよという目印になりますね。
So this is called a sakabayashi or a sugidama. And you'll often see this in front of sake breweries or shops that sell sake. And this is a sign that the fresh sake has been pressed for that year. So when it's freshly picked cedar, it's green. And that shows you that the fresh sake from that year is pressed and ready to sell. And then over time, that will turn brown. You can see a little bit of it right now. And after it turns fully brown, that's usually when the more long matured sake is ready for sale, usually in the autumn of next year.
はい、それではですね、いよいよ蔵の方へご案内してまいります。どうぞこちらお進みください。
So now let's take a look at the brewery.
はい、ちょっと足元スリッピーですので気をつけて。
So I'll try not to slip and fall on the ice here.
Be careful.
Ooh, it's a bit chilly right now. It's a nice wind. So here you can see the 150-year-old sake brewery building, and actually they have done some renovations and added new parts onto it over time. So this has a range, a long history here and throughout.
そして、こちらにご覧いただけますのが、飲水の色なんですね。すべてのお酒、焼酎、甘酒はこの水を使って製造しています。
Oh, and especially today, they've opened up the well for us to take a look at. Normally it's closed during winter, but this well goes about 16 meters deep, And all of their sake, their amazake, their products that they make here use this water. Yeah. As you can see, it's very cold today.
はい、今日は特別にここを開いておりますけれども、冬場は閉じてるんです。
Nice.
そしてこの上にですね、明日ホイールが見えると思いますが、昔はこの手で組み上げて。
So you can see this pulley here. So back in the day, they would actually use buckets, and they would pull it up from the well. Nowadays, they use more sophisticated
そう
systems.
です。
Yeah.
はい、それではですね、せっかくですから中へ入ってまいりますが、こちらが入り口になります。蔵の入り口です。大きい扉の中に小さい扉がありません。今日はその中から中へ入っていきたいと思います。
So here we have the entrance to the sake brewery. And as you can see, there are quite a few doors here, but we're going to take the smallest door to go inside. And there is a reason for that.
これはですね、大きく開けてしまうと寒い空気が中へ入って蔵の温度が下がってしまいます。それを最小限にするために小さいドアから出入りしているということです
So
ね。
they want to prevent the cold air from getting into the brewery. So we use the smallest door to get in to make sure the least amount of air comes in with us.
はい、では中へ行きましょう。はい、ちょっとここで、靴の裏だけ今日ちょっと凍っちゃってます。
So now we want to disinfect our shoes before we go in. Actually, this liquid in here is frozen. But, all
はい、
right.
頭気をつけてください。頭ぶつける方多いです。
お邪魔します。
はい、どうぞ入ってください。はい、この場所はですね、見学のお客様等をですね、こちらへご案内しまして、ちょっと奥に見えますかね、酒造りのですね、絵巻物が奥にですね書かれておりまして、酒造りの工程を説明できるようになっております。これは200年前のですね、江戸時代の絵巻物の工程図が書かれているんですが、この工程はですね、今も全くもって同じ工程で酒造りを続けております。
So here you can see the sake brewing process on the wall. And these are pictures that are taken from a 200-year-old scroll that depicts the sake making process. And actually that process hasn't changed at all. Just the tools that are used in completing it.
はい、それではですね、その最初の工程の場所をですね、ご案内したいと思いますので、ちょっと向こう側から別のルートから入りますね。ご案内します。
All right, so we're going to take a look at the first part of the sake making process, the
はい、先ほどの
washing and steaming of the rice.
はい、こちらの場所ですね、本蔵入り口と書いてありますけれども、この場所を開けますと、まさに、最初の原料を処理する場所になります。
So this is where they wash, they dry, and they steam the rice. That's one of the most important parts of the sake making process.
はい、実はこの中、明日蒸すお米が入っています。
So actually,
見えますか？これ洗った後のお米です。
so this is rice that has already been washed, and it's going to be steamed tomorrow to make sake with.
Wow.
So we're very lucky to be able to
そう
see
です
this
ね。
right now.
はい。明日の朝約1時間かけて、蒸すということになります。
How much rice is?
This is 300 kilograms.
300 kilograms. 300 kilograms. That's a lot of rice.
はい、
Wow.
そうです。本当に多いですね。
Wow. So great. So
はい。
So actually, we'd love to show you more of the brewery itself and go deeper into the brewery, but unfortunately, we don't have the signal strength to go all the way to the back. But we'd like to show you a short video of the process of making sake, of the people that participate in Kurabito Stay and go through the entire process as part of their tour. So we'd like to show you that video now. Here we go.
Okay, we can see it.
Oh, great. So you can see on the screen now how they're going through the sake purification ritual. So actually, sake is considered a drink of the gods. So before they make sake every year, they have a Shinto priest come and perform a ceremony to purify everybody before they enter the brewery for the season. And people who participate in the Kurubito Stay tour have a shorter ritual ceremony as well. So actually, I'm actually in this video.
Oh, really? Which
So
one are
see
you?
if you can spot me. I'm a little bit hard to find, but I'm there.
We can see the small door in the background.
Ah, yes, right? So apologize if you hear any noise. We're moving to a slightly warmer place while the video plays.
Oh.
Yeah, as part of the ritual, people will drink some sake from the last year. Oh, I'm in this shot.
Oh, there you are. Yep. Right there, close to the camera.
So, and then after entering the brewery, so we just showed you this part of the brewery where they wash the rice, where they dry the rice, and where they steam it. So after the rice has been polished, it's sent to the brewery, and then we have to wash off all of the extra dust, all of the excess starch from the rice. And this is quite a labor-intensive process, especially when you're steaming 300 to 400 kilograms of rice a day. So this is normally done in the afternoon, and then it will be left to dry before it's steamed the next day. So we usually spend like several minutes washing the rice. And then after that, it will be soaked for a specified amount of time. Usually between 10 to 14 minutes, depending on the type of rice and what kind of sake you're going to make with it.
And everyone is wearing the white coats and the white boots. Is white just to kind of match the rice, or any other reason to wear all white?
Oh, the white, I guess I think from a hygiene perspective, it's good to wear white just to know in case your boots or your jacket gets dirty.
Okay, as clean as possible, yeah.
Yeah. But it's definitely a very white world for the sake brewers. They spend all day looking at white liquid, white rice, sometimes white snow outside.
Yeah.
And here you can see the rice being dried. So and you can see the very large containers where the rice was stored, the 300 kilograms we looked at before. So now it's being moved to a separate container to be steamed. And it's very important to keep the rice level, right, to make sure that it's cooked evenly, because the finished texture of the rice is very important in the sake making process. And Jeff, feel free to ask any other questions if you've got them coming up in the comments.
Okay. There was one question. It was about the water that we saw earlier from that well. Is that the same water that they're using to brew the sake?
Yes. So that sake is used, or that water is used to brew the sake. It's water that comes from the nearby Yatsugatake mountain range, actually.
So it's about as fresh and clean water as you can find in Japan.
Yes, it's very fresh, very clean. Actually, this whole area, even like the tap water, is delicious.
Yeah, Japan is known for having just amazing water almost everywhere you go, but I think when you get into the mountains around Nagano, it's just unbelievably fresh and good.
Yeah. Well, and now it looks like we're cooling the rice down. So after steaming the rice for about an hour, the rice is quickly cooled down in order to move on to the next process. So during winter, the rice will cool down pretty quickly, which means that the sake brewers have to work very quickly and cautiously. They have to carry like 20 kilograms of rice at a time, very quickly move it to these pallets, flatten it out, and what they have to do that for 300 to 400 kilograms total, and they have to make sure they don't spill any of the rice along the way. So they're cooling this down to about body temperature, so somewhere around 35, 36 degrees Celsius. Now during Kurabito Stay, most people will only be carrying around 5 to 10 kilograms. And if you want a challenge, maybe Taira Shacho will give you a little extra.
So since you're in this video, you've done the experience yourself, the whole thing that we're talking about today.
Yes, I did have the chance to do it once last year. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we've just moved on to the Koji Mold section, and I have a lot to say about this particular section. It was, for me, probably the least fun that I had during the experience, because the koji is very important, and you can see we're in a special room to incorporate this Koji mold into the rice. So this room is kept at around 30 degrees Celsius and 60% humidity, because that's what the koji likes, but it's not what I like. It was very, very hot. We were trapped in there for like an hour, constantly putting more koji, mixing the rice, making sure it's well incorporated. So it was a difficult process, but I learned how important it is, and how tough it can be to be a sake brewer at times. So the koji mold, actually, it does take a lot of work, yeah. So the koji mold is what turns the starch of the rice into sugar, and without that you can't make alcohol. So it's actually used not only in sake brewing, but making miso, making soy sauce, and other indispensable Japanese flavorings. So it's a very important mold. It's the national mold of Japan. The rice looks very cozy. And so it usually takes about 5 days to properly propagate the koji mold to be used in sake making. So partway through, they'll kind of spread it out and allow more airflow through to help that process. And then finally, after that, it's on to making the starter. And this is where we introduce the yeast, which is what will turn all of the sugar into alcohol. This is also a labor-intensive process where people have to mix together this watery rice porridge until it creates a nice consistency for the yeast. And usually they have to get it to right around like 20 degrees Celsius in order to make a good environment for the yeast to grow. Yeah.
It's a good workout doing this experience. You're gonna walk away with a pretty good feeling, I imagine.
Yeah, it's definitely a good training regimen, I think. And I've heard that if you work directly with the rice, it's really good for your skin. So a lot of sake brewers have very nice skin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So not only is it a learning experience, it's almost like a trip to the spa, if you will. So you can see they check the temperature over and over again to make sure they're getting near that 20 degrees and that it's consistent throughout. So unfortunately, I didn't get to do this part of the experience. It would have been very nice, but it wasn't the right time of year when I visited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the process goes on kind of throughout the year. Every season has its role, I suppose.
Yeah, they're different. Like the main season for sake brewing is winter.
Okay.
So that's where they'll do the heaviest amount of work. And that's why like a lot of farmers would come and they would stay in breweries for the winter season when they couldn't, grow crops.
Mm-hmm.
And they would just spend their entire winter working in the sake brewery and then going back to farming during the summer.
Okay. So the dorms, they're kind of maybe like a 3-month stay type of situation, typically.
Yeah, 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6, all right.
Actually, yeah. And now you can see everybody's smelling the yeast, I think. Yeah.
How does that smell?
It smells a lot like bread, is what
Bread,
I've
okay.
heard. Yeah. And then they pour in the yeast there, and then after the yeast gets to work, it takes about 10 days for it to grow enough. And then they can move on to the next stage where they start really producing the sake. So yeah, they have some very large tanks. I wish we could have shown them to you, but unfortunately they're farther back in the brewery where the signal is very good. But they're huge. Everyone's actually on the second story, standing on a bunch of like wooden slats above the tanks. And then they're mixing, so they move the starter into the large tank, and then they're mixing freshly steamed rice that's being shot through a giant hose into the tank. And during this process, they'll add rice and water 3 times.
Koji.
Oh, and koji as well,
Koji,
yeah.
Okay.
And each time they will double the amount that they're adding. So the first time they'll add 1 part, and then the next time 2 parts, and then finally 4 parts.
These tanks must be gigantic. I mean, we talked about 300 kilograms of rice earlier, but these must just be able to hold an enormous amount of liquid.
Yeah, they're huge tanks.
7,000 liters.
Oh, so 7,000 liters.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after all those batches of rice, water, and koji have been added, then in total it takes 20 to 25 days to ferment the sake. And here you can see it kind of bubbling up. So actually, very good sake brewers can look at the bubbling of the sake, just the top of it, and they can tell like how far along it is in the stage of fermentation.
Wow.
And then if you're actually in the room while it's fermenting, you can kind of hear the bubbles popping out. But unfortunately in this video, I think it's a little too faint.
I'll turn the volume up a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, not too much.
Yeah. And then finally, after making the koji, making the yeast starter, and then fermenting it for so long, finally the sake is pressed and drinkable. So here you can see like the typical pressing machine that's used these days. Like back in the day, they would pour it into like fine cloth bags and they would just let it drip out of the bag slowly. Some places will still use that for their finest sake, but most sake are pressed using those kinds of machines now. And you'll separate the solids and the liquids. And actually the solids, called takekasu, will be used in like a lot of different kinds of cooking in Japan. Sometimes to make like pickles, or to make amazake or other things. Then finally the head brewer tastes the sake, checks its color, its aroma, its flavor, before finally pasteurizing it and putting it in the bin and sending it out. And
Yeah, I think
are we back?
I think that is the conclusion of the video. Yeah, now we're back on you.
Yeah.
Looks like you've changed locations. Where are we?
Yeah, so I'm actually here in the building we just passed earlier, the Kurabito Stay building, and I have a very lovely bottle of Kitsukura sake breweries, Junmaishu. So this is what has been made at the end of that long sake making process.
Nice.
And while I want to drink this right now, first, I'd like to talk a little bit more about where we are. So, this is the Kurubito Stay Hotel where the Kurabito, the sake brewers, would stay during their long winter sake making season. And it's been renovated. It's now a hotel where people can stay and experience the sake making process. And here with us, we have the head of Kurabito Stay, Marika-san. So will you introduce yourself?
Okay, hello Jeff-san, hello
Hello.
everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Marika Tawazawa. I'm the CEO of Kurabito Stay. Are you enjoying virtual sake brewery
Yes, thank you so much.
トゥア？ありがとうございます。
Oh, it's great. Glad to hear it. I'm enjoying it too.
ありがとう。We established our Kurabito Stay company in 2019 as a part of an effort to brand Saku area, the place where the sake lovers from all over the world would be impressed the most. Are you already impressed? Hello?
I'm very impressed. Yeah. No,
よかった。That's good.
yeah. I had a great experience last time I came. Yeah.
ありがとう。Our guests can experience the sake brewing through the spirit and philosophy of sake brewers staying night in this unique sake brewery hotel.
Yeah.
So from now on, let's look around our unique hotel.
Oh, yeah. Let's
Oh,
do it.
please. Thank you.
If I can get up.
A tour with the owner.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a very beautiful. This is the first floor of
Yeah.
the two-story hotel, and this is the living area. Correct?
Yes, yes. Our guests stay here and take breakfast here around this table and
Yeah, it's a-
take a rest.
It's a
And...
very beautiful table.
ありがとう。
Oh,
Can you imagine what is this?
so actually, I know the answer. But Jeff, do you have any idea what this is?
I mean, it just looks like a big round table to me. Is there anything? I mean, it looks like there's something underneath it. Maybe I'm not too sure.
So actually, it does have an opening here where you can put your feet down below.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, kind of like a common Japanese style, similar to a kotatsu,
That's
which
yes.
is like a table that has a heater underneath. But this piece of wood here was actually the top of a sake brewing tank.
Oh,
So you can
okay.
imagine just how
So that's
big
the size of the
that
tanks.
tank
Wow.
Yeah.
It has
7,000.
2 meter and 30 centimeters.
Oh,
Wow.
2 meters and 30 centimeters diameter.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
a cool table.
So, yeah, it's a very nice table. Yeah. Yeah, let's take a little look into
I
the
will
back
show you
here.
the special room here. Now all the guests can stay here, but this room was used to be used as a Toji's room. Toji is the head of sake brewers.
So this long ago was a common area, but here was the head brewer's room. So, they had a nicer accommodation than everybody else. Yeah. So you can see some beautiful Japanese furniture laid out here, nice little table, and then also this little sake library.
Mhm.
You can enjoy some books of sake,
Oh, yeah.
manga too,
Looks
Yeah.
comfortable.
watching beautiful Japanese garden. That's
Oh.
Tyler-san's house, private garden.
Yeah. So yeah, back then the head brewer had a lovely view, but nowadays anybody who stays here can enjoy it when they're hanging out in this lovely living space.
Mhm.
There's one thing that I noticed that caught my eye, and it's this machine over here. So Marika, what is this?
This is sake server.
Sake server.
Sake server, yeah. In this Saku area, we have 13 sake breweries. They are very unique.
Yeah.
So, various type of sake you can taste and enjoy.
Wow. So people who stay here, how much can they drink?
It's including the fee.
Oh,
Stay
so
fee.
they can drink as much as they
Oh,
want.
you
Yeah.
can drink. Wow. That's
Yeah.
a good deal.
So,
Do you want to try?
oh, sure. Yeah, let's give it a shot. So,
My recommendation is this one.
this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So you just put the cup here and
Just
then
push the button.
and then
please.
push the button like this.
Yeah.
And it serves sake right from the bottle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let's take a sip. Little sip. Oh,
Yeah. Here we
Oh,
go.
it smells
The
amazing.
first taste of the
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Mm.
wow. So from just rice, water, and then the koji and yeast, you can get a completely fruity, it's like something you
Yeah.
wouldn't imagine
Wow.
you could get from rice.
Huh.
But it's very, very nice. Let's drink more
Yes.
a little bit later.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
A little bit later.
We change every time.
Oh, so repeat customers
Yeah.
can get a different
Mm.
taste
Yeah.
Oh,
there.
nice.
Very nice.
Hmm.
Oh, and looks like we can see the brewery.
Yeah. You
Here
were
as well.
there just a few minutes ago.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
That's cool.
So, can you see through the glass? Okay?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good view. We can see
Yeah.
right in there. Is that the little door on the right side where you guys went in?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's where we entered.
Okay.
Unfortunately, as soon as we go into the brewery, we lose signal. But now you can see it from here.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah. So this is the main room, and then up on the left wall there, they have all of the scroll photos that show the sake making process.
Hmm.
Yeah. So this building used to be directly connected
Mhm.
to the brewery.
Yeah, I showed
But
some
now
of
you can
those
just
old
sit here and enjoy
images
the views.
a little bit earlier. They're really beautiful.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. So now shall we go up to the second floor?
Yes.
So now let's look at where the Kurabito would have actually stayed during their trip.
Mm.
We have 2 shower rooms here.
Oh, so some nice showers, bathrooms here. And now we're going to have some steep steps.
Because the sake brewers are all men, so there used to be 2 big rooms. But now we made 8 separate small rooms, small and simple, but very comfortable.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh,
Please go
nice.
ahead.
Oh, this is a nice little hallway we have here. Yeah, it's very like a simple design, but elegant.
Yeah, I like it.
ありがと
You can see all of these other little doors around here. So if you come to visit, be sure to watch your head.
Yeah.
う. Like you enter the sake brewery.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's a small door. Yeah.
Oh, and here we have one open that we can take a quick look in.
Oh, cool.
So I believe this is one of the larger rooms. But
Tatami on
it's quite-
on the ground. Yeah.
it's quite simple. We have tatami floors here. You know, there's no fancy decorations,
Mm.
but it's very cozy and it's very warm despite the cold winter weather outside.
Yeah. No,
So you can get
Wow, look at that
sort
view.
of a
Yeah.
sake brewer's living experience
Mm.
in a very clean and comfortable environment.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And the wood is beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
very nice. It works very well. All right. Shall we head back downstairs?
Yeah, and I'm gonna show a couple
Alright.
photos of the Kurubito that I had prepared as you guys are walking
Oh,
down.
great.
What's your head?
Oh.
It's very warm, right?
Yeah, it's very warm here despite the cold weather outside. Oh, and you can even see a bit of the roof of the sake brewery here as well. It's quite a hodgepodge of ceramic,
Yeah,
aluminum,
it's been
metal.
built over 300 years, I suppose.
Yeah, well, very cool.
Hmm.
And some lingering snow as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's head back down.
Yeah.
And I think we might have a surprise waiting for us.
Oh.
I have no idea. Oh, what do we have here, Taida Shacho?
はい。これからお酒のパーティーです。
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
sake party.
ご用意しました。
Oh, so not only will we finally be able to drink the lovely sake that Kitsukura Sake Brewery has made, we also
はい。
have this,
Oh,
this lovely local specialty.
nice.
そうですね。こちらはですね、地元で、名物になっております。鶏の蒸し煮、和風のローストチキンですね。
So this is called Mushidi. And it's a type of roast chicken that's produced in this area in Saku City.
はい。
So let me show it to you
Oh
up
yeah,
close.
let's check it out. It looks good.
Yeah, so beautiful piece of roast chicken.
Ooh. Nice.
はい。そしてですね、このローストチキンに合わせたいお酒がこちらですね。菊比で純米酒。このチキンに合うと思いますね。ぜひぜひ皆さん、せっかくですのでお召し上がりください。はい、どうぞ。
ありがとうございます。
はい。
So this
成田さんも
is
どうぞ。
Kitsukura Sake Brewery's Junmai.
Okay.
Yeah, Junmai sake. So it means there's no alcohol added to it.
Hmm.
Just made with 100%
ライス。
Nagano
長野
rice,
ライス。
water.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Wow.
very local flavor.
Okay.
はい。じゃあ、せっかくですね、乾杯をしましょう。
Yeah.
So let's toast.
Oh man.
And as we do in Japan, we say
乾杯。
Kanpai.
乾杯.
Kanpai. I wish I had one.
美味しい。
Wow. Very nice, like very clear flavor. But it has like a, I don't know, it's a medium full body. It tastes very good, yeah. Very easy to drink.
はい。ぜひこのチキン合わせてみてください。
May I?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so I'll take a taste of this.
はい。切る。
So as Taira Shacho says, these go very well together. I'm very excited to have a taste of this. Ooh.
They
If I
must
can-
know all of the pairings
持ってい
here.
ただいてもいいですか
Yeah.
はい。
Okay. I tried to do it beautifully with a fork and knife, but it's just not working. So
Here we go.
we're gonna have to go the traditional route. Itadakimasu.
はい、どうぞお召し上がりください。
Mm. Oh, it's great. That's
Wow.
some delicious roast chicken.
はい。ぜひぜひこのお酒と合わせていただいて。
Now, another taste of sake.
いかがですか
That is amazing. Yeah. So I never really think that like Japanese sake would go well with roast chicken. I always imagine like sushi, sashimi, maybe very traditional washoku, traditional Japanese foods. But this is a very nice pairing. And I think many people wouldn't imagine chicken being a local specialty in Japan.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a locally raised chicken, roasted carefully over a long period of time with simple seasonings that really bring out the chicken's flavor. It's very delicious. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
はい。
thank you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. 臼田には、これ今、塩味の蒸し煮ですけれども、それ以外にも、お醤油味、それからニンニク醤油味、揚げた蒸し煮もあります。
So yeah, they have quite a range of flavors around here. So there's a simple like a salted chicken. They also have one with a based in soy sauce. Why can't I remember what ninniku is in English? Garlic.
Garlic.
Garlic,
Okay.
soy sauce flavor, and even a deep fried flavor. I think I've been in Japan too long, but very delicious. Even just with the salt flavoring. Yeah.
このチキンが、はい。
In Usuda area,
Mm.
we have Kurabito friendly shops.
Yeah. So yeah, there are a lot of local restaurants around here. Here's a photo of one of their restaurants and what they have on offer.
Okay.
But these restaurants kind of are cooperating together with Kurabito Stay.
Yeah.
So offering foods that go really well together with Kitsukura Shuzo's sake. And they're also within walking distance, so it's easy for people staying here to go and try a lot of different local foods, pair that together with local sake, and just really enjoy a gourmet experience in countryside Japan. And of course, in this open living area with kind of smallish rooms, it encourages everyone to get together, to spend time together and get to know each other.
Yeah.
And I've heard that everyone that stays here becomes friends at the end, hanging around this lovely large table.
Yeah. That sounds so fun.
It is very fun.
はい。そしてですね、こちら、Kitsukura 純米吟醸無尽蔵無六花生原酒というお酒ですね。
A little closer. So this, another one of their sake.
Yeah,
これはですね、ちょうど10日前に絞ったお酒です。
So this sake they just pressed 10 days ago.
Wow.
And Taira Shacho said Muroka Nama Genshu, which is it's a real mouthful, but it means unfiltered, unpasteurized, no water added to this sake.
Yeah.
So you're getting a really strong sake flavor.
Okay.
はい。さあぜひみんなで飲みましょう。はい。はいどうぞ。
ありがとうございます。わあ。
はい。はい、どうぞお召し上がりください。
Bye.
Melon. Oh.
Banana.
Actually, I get that.
Yeah.
I would never imagine that rice could turn into banana.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wow.
And these glasses you guys are drinking out of are kind of designed specially for sake.
これは酒専用のグラスですか? Oh. So this is a sake glass specifically designed for enjoying sake.
Yeah.
So it's better for enjoying the aroma of the sake. Yeah. It's very nice. Yeah, banana, melon, really, really interesting. Very delicious.
Wow.
And because it's not pasteurized, it's difficult to ship this kind of sake very far away. So this sake is something that is best enjoyed here, close by and fresh.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
really,
a good
really
reason to
lovely.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
はい、ぜひお越しください。ありがとうございます。はい。
So thank you so much for watching. So that's all for our virtual tour here, but we'd love if you guys have any questions for us, for Taira Shacho or Marika or me.
Yeah, we've had
What does it look like,
a pretty
Jeff?
active chat and several questions for you guys. So let me
Great.
let me see what we've got. First of all, here we've got one question asking about the kind of the life of the sake brewer. When do they typically kind of start the day, and what time do they end the day? How does the typical day go? Yeah.
So that sounds like a good one for Taira Shacho.
はい。
So 何時から働き始めるか、何時まで
働くか。はい。ですね、今は7時半ぐらいから、5時半ぐらいが普通の時間なんですが、当時さんのだけは夜も夜中も来て、麹のメンテナンスをします。
So nowadays, most sake brewers will be working pretty regular hours, from like 7:30 to 5:30. But the head brewer will stay even later. Might come in the middle of the night in order to check how the sake is progressing.
Okay. Yeah. And there was a question. I guess all the sake bottles typically have a different level of alcohol content, I imagine. Can you describe the range? And also, would there happen to be any alcohol-free type of drinks we could purchase there?
酒の日本酒のアルコール分は まあ、その範囲、何度から何度まで。
はい。日本酒はですね、22度未満ですね、のアルコールのものになる。それ以上になると、今度は日本酒と言えなくなってしまいます。
22度。
2度までです。
So, Japanese sake can have up to 22% alcohol. Anything above that, it can't be called nihonshu anymore.
Okay.
But for a non-alcoholic option, would probably be amazake.
甘酒
Alcohol
0%.
が入ってない。So amazake is made with, well, it can be made from scratch, but often will be made with the sake kasu, the solid bits that remain after pressing sake. So that will have that kind of rice, that fermented flavor without any of the alcohol.
And we have a question for Miss Tazawa as well. A lot of us are interested. Where can we go for the Kurubito Stay bookings?
そのブッキングするにはどこに行けばいいって。
We have a website, through Kurabito Stay website. You can book, and we have English site too.
So yeah. Did you hear that?
Yeah, so we've got the English website. I just linked it up in the chat, so if anyone wants to find out more information, you can check out that website there. And 8 rooms are ready and waiting, I guess, for those who want to come out. Another question here. We've got a vegetarian here that doesn't particularly know what to pair with sake. Would there be any good recommendations for pairing? Yeah, bit of a tough one. Maybe some Nagano
for a vegetarian,
vegetables.
what would they pair with sake? 煮物？どういう煮物？
あとは
お野菜のバーニャカウダ
バーニャカウダーです。ディップです。
So to cut up vegetables and then to serve that together with baonya kauda, that kind of sauce goes well with sake. So that's a recommendation of Taira Shacho and Marika. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess that sounds, yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty good. There's a lot of different diets out there, so good to know.
Yeah.
And question from a wine lover, I suppose. Does sake get better when aging, similar to wine, or how does that compare?
日本酒は、
はい、ヴィンテージですね。古酒というですね、ヴィンテージのお酒は出始めてますが、まだまだポピュラーではないんですね。ですので、そこを今、クローズアップしている蔵元が増えてきました。うちのですね、5年ものの古酒は持ってます。
So actually, recently there are more breweries that are starting to make aged sake. So actually, Kitsukura Sake Brewery has a 5-year-old sake that they're making. But most brewers do not age their sake. So most people consider that sake is best enjoyed fresh. So there isn't really aging involved in most. But koshu is the aged sake. So that is starting to increase right now. So.
Okay.
So maybe some sake are better aged, but not all.
All right. And do you or Tazawa-san have any recommendations around Kurubito Stay? Some things to do in the Saku area if you're going to stay there for a few days.
Things to do in the Saku area.
Temple. There are beautiful traditional temples and shrines. And depends on season. You can also enjoy colored leaves, some flowers, and also this area is famous for its beautiful
Starry skies.
Starry skies. Oh, okay. Wow, nice.
This is a nice place to enjoy the kind of countryside scenery of Japan. And then nearby Saku, there are a lot of places to visit, like Kadarizawa is a very popular summer resort area, not far from here. It's actually the next Shinkansen stop away from Saku. Nearby Saku are also Mount Asama which is a very beautiful but active volcano. We also have the Yatsugatake Mountains, which have some very beautiful sightseeing spots in there. So I'd recommend personally coming by car if possible, and then you can kind of drive around this beautiful mountainous scenery here. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I'm just going to do maybe one or two more questions. We're running out of time, so we might not be able to answer everything. We've got a fan of cheese, a couple fans of cheese. Any good cheeses that sake might pair with, or is there any recommendations there?
Sake to awaseru cheese.
チーズは酒とすごくいい相性で、こちらも発酵食品だから。
Right, since they're both fermented products, they tend to go very well with one another. But 特に何かその種類一番相性がいいものとかある？
そうですね。こういうフレッシュなものはカマンベールとか。
So for like a fresh, maybe a lighter sake, something like a soft cheese like camembert or something would be very nice. Yeah.
For example, old sake, vintage sake, with gorgonzola.
Gorgonzola. So for an aged sake, maybe blue cheese, gorgonzola cheese, something like that. But I'm sure that many cheeses will go very well with sake. So if you have the time, try a lot of them out.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to explore.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last question here for a bit of the serious sake lovers. Are there any types of maybe certifications or programs or anything that someone that might be interested in becoming like a sommelier or something like this be able to learn from a stay in Kurubito?
なんかソムリエになりたいと思う人だったら、なんかその特別なプログラム、その中に認定できるものありますか？
認定証をサケサーティフィケーション、お渡ししてるんですけど、はい。クラビトナンバーが全部書かれてます。
So, at least participating in this program, you get a certificate for your participation here. So your Kurabito Stay certificate, but that you won't become a sommelier just through that. But if you're interested in something like that, it might be worth contacting Marika-san, and she could maybe talk to you more about that. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure.
Some guests are learning for the sake diploma.
So yes, actually some people that come here regularly are studying for a sake diploma. So there are people that are pursuing similar programs.
Oh,
so
that sounds great.
I think that Marika would know more about that if you wanted to contact her privately.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Well, yeah, thank you all in the chat for your questions. Blair, do you just want to maybe give us your final impressions of the day?
Sure, yeah, of course. So thank you all for coming and joining us here on this virtual tour at the Kitsukura Sake Brewery in Kurabito Stay. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new about sake. And I hope sometime in the future you can come visit us here in Saku City in Nagano. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
So see you.
Thank you, Blair. Thank you, Titus-san. Thank you, Tazawa-san. Really appreciate it. And for those watching, remember to check out the official website for Eat Meat Japan for more information on Japanese food experiences. Please also stay tuned to Japan Travel, YouTube, and Facebook for future virtual events. And if you enjoyed our tour or have some advice, let us know. We'll share that survey link in the chat one more time. But yeah, special thanks to everyone from Saku City, Nagano. And we hope we've sparked an interest for some of you guys to come and try some sake or even visit the area one day. So goodbye from our travelers, guides, and myself, and hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.